Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by PewSitter.com, your online Catholic newspaper for the third millennium, CatholicMediaCoalition.org, in line with the Church, online with the world.
And TheAmericanCatholic.com, politics and culture from a Catholic perspective.
Hello and welcome to today's edition of Catholic News Roundup. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Obama to Axe DOMA. The sanctity of true marriage is being threatened by the Obama administration as both the Senate and the House consider the repeal of the Defense of Marriage Act. In its place, homosexual activists on Capitol Hill will pass what they are calling the Respect for Marriage Act, legislation that will allow legally married same-sex couples to have the same benefits truly married couples traditionally share by law. The White House has been ignoring the existence of the Defense of Marriage Act since February, ordering the Department of Justice not to enforce the federal law, and gave its approval of the new bill earlier this month. Charles Lamandry, a renowned lawyer and member of the Thomas More Society, pointed out earlier this year in an interview that the average homosexual marriage in Sweden, which legalized same-sex unions in the year 2000, lasts only 6 months. Lamandry adds that during their marriage, Swedish homosexuals have an average of 8 other partners before they dissolve their civil union. Also in America's capital, same-sex federal judge. The U.S. Senate has officially voted in the first openly homosexual male federal judge in history. J. Paul Etkin was overwhelmingly approved by the Senate to take his seat in federal court, and his territory will include the Southern District of New York. He was approved by a vote of 80-13 in the Senate. The Obama administration has appointed over 200 homosexual activists to office in his administration. Hammering down God haters. A Texas congressman is beating down the opposition war veteran families have been facing when trying to pray to God for the dead. Since the director of Fort Houston National Cemetery has allegedly forbidden any mention of God on funeral property, Republican Congressman John Culberson says he will zero out her salary if she doesn't get her act together. Culberson is the chairman of the House Appropriations Committee for the panel that handles all the financing for the cemetery. The lawmaker also said he plans on presenting 25 sworn affidavits from members of the Veteran of Foreign Wars and their families to the Secretary of the Department of Veteran Affairs, and will urge them to end these incidents. You can read the full story on our resource page by clicking the link right over here. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a few seconds.
Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by NewOxfordReview.org, the voice of Catholic Orthodoxy, in print and on the web, and RenewAmerica.com, expanding the influence of America's grassroots in the cause of freedom.
Texas defunds Planned Parenthood. Everything's bigger in Texas, including the resolve of pro-life Governor Rick Perry to cut abortion. The bill to defund America's abortion giant compels the state to push Obama to turn Texas Medicaid program into a block grant in order to avoid pitfalls involving Medicaid law. The bill also includes other controversial provisions, including plans to save over $400 million over the next year by increasing the use of Medicaid managed care. Texas joins Indiana, Kansas, New Jersey, and North Carolina in banning funds for Planned Parenthood. Meanwhile, on the East Coast, Planned Parenthood's opinion. It may come as no surprise to some, but America's abortion giant actually expresses its opinion about children every so often. By posting this video commercial on Twitter, Planned Parenthood North Carolina certainly didn't hold back. The message that went up with this video says, quote, "We found this funny condom commercial that really sends the point home," end quote, and is punctuated by a smiley face. Planned Parenthood's senior director for medical services herself likens pregnancy to an epidemic. a chilling portrayal of the genocidal mentality held by the founders of contraception in America. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure and tune in tomorrow for your daily dose of Catholic News Roundup right here on RealCatholicTV.com. And be sure to check out The Vortex today, where Michael talks about the contraception deception, RealCatholicTV.com's latest CIA. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure and tell all your friends about us. And as always, God bless.